What is up, everybody? Welcome to Toffee Blues USA, your source for all things Everton, American style. Gerry Gibson coming to you, recorded from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and joining me, as always, he's a stalwart of the show. You know, he just keeps coming back because everybody's begging for it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Jake Holton again. Jake, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing good. I'm doing very good. Summertime is finally here. We are a very short distance away from seeing Everton play in person, so I'm getting pretty hyped up about that.
So are you going to be there?
That's right. I have my ticket. I've got my hotel. I've got both of my flights. Everything is booked, locked, loaded, ready to go.
So I don't have hotel yet. Okay. I have tickets, flights. I don't have hotels yet. I don't know why. I guess I was hoping for someone to just go, "Hey, Gerry, I'm staying here." So I would have a clue. So I have no idea about that, but I know where I'm sitting.
That's good.
Where are you sitting?
Actually, I'm in a group text and we basically pooled money and somebody bought like a big, just like a bunch of tickets for all of us. So I actually don't know. I'm guessing we're in the Everton's supporter section somewhere. I would hope we're in
I
the
also am
Everton
in there. Yes, me
because
too.
even if I don't have a ticket in the Everton supporter section, I'm gonna go find a seat in the Everton supporter section with somebody I know or some random stranger from the internet.
So I'll be in Everton supporter section as well. I think the two sections are 121 and 122, and now I'll be in 122, somewhere's in the middle. You know, so yeah, good things. Hopefully, I'll be getting to meet all kinds of new Everton people. And the funny thing is, I'll be meeting people like you in person that I've been talking to for like a year
Yeah,
now, and
yeah,
and finally, like meeting people, meeting everybody in person is gonna be so cool.
it'll be great.
Um, I know, just for everybody's information, I think there are various like events that are the information is slowly coming out about things like uh, what do you call it when you park in the parking lot and you have a
A
party in
tailgate.
the yes, that you can tell I've done it a lot in my life. uh I I didn't know. Why did I forget what a tailgate's called? I think it's been a long day, Jake. Anyway, so apparently there's those happening, specific Everton tailgates. So just kind of seek information if you're driving there. Jacob, do you know, like, for those, if you haven't driven, is it one of those things where you can just roll up and hang out with those people?
I think I saw on the official release or whatever that you need a specific parking pass for that lot. But I think if you're just kind of walking around, you can kind of wander into the lot, which is
Okay.
great, which is something I will do. But if
Yeah.
you are driving, I would look into seeing if you need a parking pass for that specific lot because I think I did see somewhere that
Yeah.
do need a parking pass. But if you're just
Yeah.
walking around, just wander in.
Because that's probably what I would do. It's probably because I'm not going to have a car.
Nope.
you know, I'm gonna be floating solo through Orlando. Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm gonna do a lot of traveling by myself, Jacob. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna be like a child that wanders into the middle of a movie. It's gonna be wide-eyed, and that's a tough feat with my tiny eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, anybody who's out there, if you see me looking lost, give me a clue, will you?
Just point
Uh,
them.
do what Jake does in these recordings. Just point me in the right direction and
That's right.
guide me somewhere, please. Hopefully, yeah, and I'm hoping there'll be a couple more Toffee Blues representatives there too, which would be cool. There are rumors afoot of some faces being there that I have not met in person, so
What
that's going to be
is
rad.
what is the tier that the United States is on for the UK travel. Do you know what the COVID
Don't know.
restriction travel is to the United States? Because
Don't
that'll
know.
play a big part in it. I know they've got different levels for different places. Like Marcel Brands just came back from the Netherlands, and that was like an amber place, so he had to quarantine after he got back. So I didn't
Yeah,
know if you knew what the
I
level
don't.
was.
In the week preceding that, I will be in Orlando again for my kids' soccer tournament, and there's supposed to be like all of these Everton presences there. There are people from the past who are like Paul Wilkinson was supposed to be there. I don't know if he's still going to be there, but let me see who the other one was. There was another one who I wasn't familiar with him, and then so apparently Mike Newell, uh, former Everton player Mike Newell, who scored quickest ever hat trick in the Champions League, is supposed to be there too.
What about
So
that?
so these are supposed to be like I think he did it with Blackburn at the time, but yeah, there's supposed to be like some Premier League, and I don't know which ones are going to be there now, right? Because travel restrictions and everything. I just don't know if it's. I know today, we're filming this documentary with this USL2 team, North Carolina Fusion, and one of their players is heading back to Britain today, heading back to England today, and he had to go through a lot. He had to take a lot of tests. He's having to do a lot of quarantine. It's a lot he's having to do in order to get back to England. It sounded like it was more to get into England than it is to get into America.
Yeah.
Sounded like. So, yeah. Interesting stuff here. So anyway, what I'd like to do is to keep learning more about the Orlando trip and kind of spout it out at the beginning of every episode, because I may be talking to you, Jake. I may be talking to Jeff Wallner. I think he's going to be there, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
There's just random people that we're going to be talking to. They're hopefully going to be there. It's going to be awesome. And of course, people are going to randomly see us in Orlando and be like, "Hey, I see you, and you're sometimes obnoxious on the internet." So yeah, but good things. It's going to be nice. You can have maybe Jake walk you through a little MMA training.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I'll bring my gi. We'll do some rolling.
You realize I'm probably the person who needs that the worst. So
Oh
you
man,
see me, give me whatever you can, man.
that's funny.
So anyway, anybody who has information about Orlando trip and everything, send it in to us. We'll push it out here. And also, honestly, I'm cool with just hearing information too for my own benefit, so I know what I'm doing when I get to Orlando. That would be cool. All right. Yeah, because right now I'm just flapping free. So next, more good news. Okay. Brandley Moore, Everton, taking charge, taking over, July 26th. Stuff is happening. Strange things are afoot. Let's go.
Yeah, the first shovel goes into the ground on July the 26th. They announced the contracting company who's going to be taking the building to taking the construction plans and putting them into action. It's exciting. I will be headed home from Orlando as they begin the new exciting chapter in the long history of Everton Football Club. As I am leaving, I will also be bawling my eyes out because I will be thinking about the last game played at Goodison Park, and it'll be really hard, and I'm not ready for it, but at the same time, I'm very ready to be in this excellent facility with a greater capacity, and it's going to revitalize that dock area too. Not to mention the good that the former Goodison Park ground is going to do for Everton in the community. So all around going to be a great time, but huge news. It's finally happening. So that guy on Twitter can go watch him build the actual stadium if he wants to. There'll be
with his cone.
There'll be a bit more than a cone and some bins out there. I can promise him that.
Well, he may still have a cone if he continues to be on the
That's
wrong
right.
job.
There are probably some cones out there now. There's probably more cones out there than just the one. So he's got more material. But if he wants to watch him build the real stadium, he can. They'll be down there starting July the 26th. So
He'll have friends. Poor guy. Poor guy.
a weird guy.
Yeah. So good news. Are you one of those cynical folk that thinks they dropped this message now for a reason?
Even if they did, it doesn't matter. Does it really matter? Not really, because
See, I like that. I like that point of view, dude.
because they already announced Benitez yesterday. There was
what?
All the fume was really gone by the time they announced it, because we had known for about a week.
Took the air out of it.
I mean, the fume was already gone. To say that they announced this because to soften the blow of announcing Rafa yesterday, yeah, maybe a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. None of it really matters,
Yeah.
It's good news about the club. It doesn't matter if we got it yesterday or the day before that or tomorrow or today. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is we got news that the first spade is going into the dirt, or I guess into the dock, starting on July the 26th. So that's all that really matters. It doesn't matter if it was a PR stunt or not, honestly.
Yeah, I gotta agree. If somebody's kind of like, do you think that? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. What are you gonna do? Cool. I want to hear some good news. Cool. Give me something good. Cool. You know what I mean? I am in bizarre place based on managerial appointment. Cool. Give me that stuff. I'm fine. I feel I'm super fine being manipulated on this one, Jake. Manipulate me. Pull my puppet strings.
Yeah.
That's fine. Let's do this. I'm cool with it. Whatever. Give me some good news. I like good news.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. And this is good news for people like us, people who like the good news. Yeah. So good things, everybody. Maybe we get to sit back and enjoy that,
What a concept.
Yeah. And by the way, we did mention managerial appointment. We are going to get into that. That's just the meat of the show. This is the intro. The meat of the show is Rafa Talk 2021. Yeah, we'll get there. So yeah, we're going to get through this other stuff first. This is the intro. We have a structure, people. You gotta have a spine.
Don't throw off the flow.
Yeah, we can't sit there and do everything at once, in the beginning. Otherwise, people are like, what even is that show? It becomes a blob without a spine. Now that I've explained structure. So I think one of the last things we should probably discuss is the fact that we haven't signed anybody. That hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Nope. Window's been open.
Yeah.
Nobody signed.
To be fair, not many teams have done a whole lot of business. Manchester United brought in Jadon Sancho today, or will finalize the deal for Jadon Sancho today. Aston Villa.
Oh, and no one saw that one coming, right?
No, that hasn't been going on for a year and a half to 2 years at all.
A surprise move by United.
So long. I'm so glad that it's finally over and I don't have to hear about Jadon Sancho anymore. It's about time.
He is a good player, though. I've liked him
yes,
for a while,
yeah, I think that'll really help them.
Hope he does well. I just don't want to lose to the team. There you go.
I'm sure that'll push United closer to where they want to be and challenging for a title this year, I would imagine. So good for them. Villa have made a couple of signings. Leicester have done some good business.
They have.
Leicester does what Leicester does. Watford have made a couple of signings. Norwich City have done a couple of signings, but Brentford, quiet, completely quiet. That's a little bit shocking to me because they got some work to do because now they're kind of behind the eight ball, and especially in terms of promoted teams like Watford and Norwich City. They're getting their stuff done early. Arsenal have made a couple of signings, brought in Buendia from Norwich City. That's a good deal from them. But overall, there hasn't been a whole lot of movement especially from those middle table teams, especially, even including Everton. Tottenham still had to deal with their manager's situation, which they appointed Nuno yesterday. So, they have Harry Kane drama to deal with. That's the next saga that we're going to have to go through. Jack Grealish are going to have to fight for, or Aston Villa is going to have to fight for Jack Grealish to stay. So it's going to be an interesting summer, but it does seem like Denzel Dumfries is starting to move in the right direction for Everton.
I was going to mention him. Yeah.
Matthias Nunes is moving in the right direction, if you want to believe that. There are some outgoings potentially for Everton, if you want to believe that stuff. The James Rodriguez is an unfortunate one, but he's apparently pushing for a move to AC Milan. So, and then there's the Moise Kean stuff with the loan with an option to buy, which not ideal, but I think PSG would probably trigger that option if he had another good season. And if you can get a good loan fee for him this season, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, here's the deal with that. I was angry about the loan, and then I thought, hey, well, if they give us a loan fee that's the size of the amount that we might be losing on waiting a year selling him,
yeah,
I'm fine with that discussion. You know what I mean? Like then you're like buying a year of him, and then we think about what we lost. Supposedly there's an option to buy. Everybody's pissed about the potential loan. And I agree with being pissed about it. But if there's a big old loan fee attached, let's talk. Let's talk. If that's what it is, yeah. If they're going to split pay the difference, what we're going to lose, let's do it. Fine. Let's just, move on. Supposedly, I think, was it according to The Athletic, I think? Or someone recently said that Bronze was in the Netherlands talking about a transfer.
Yeah, that was The Athletic who reported that.
And I was kind of thinking that was probably Dumfries, who, by the way, has looked really strong. And he goes so forward.
He had a good Euros.
Gosh.
I kept tweeting something like, he doesn't just play on the right. He likes to kind of drift a little bit, which maybe not the best idea, but like if you can have somebody in front of him as a right mid who can kind of facilitate that a little bit more, but still have him do overlapping runs on the far right side, that can really work out pretty well. But but not only that, but he's a really good, he's a pretty decent shooter of the ball when he gets into those forward positions, and he likes to make runs into that far post, which would be great for somebody like Luka Dean if he's looking for somebody in the middle and it goes over. You got Denzel Dumfries looking to clean up. Yep. So good player. Heard his price has gone up just a little bit since the Euros, which is fine. It should still be manageable.
It should have, right?
He had an excellent tournament. Yeah, he had an excellent tournament. Probably the best player in terms of what was shown by the Netherlands. He had the most to gain, and he did. So good for PSV, good for Denzel Dumfries, maybe not so good for Everton.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that was the one thing everybody's like, well, that sucks. Good player, damn, The Nunes news, I feel like, has quieted down a bit lately. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if that means it's what the deal is with that. I don't know. I've watched, just like everybody else did, I ran to my YouTube to just watch every bit of Matheus Nunes that I could find. He does seem like an exciting player in a different way. So you like the idea of Nunes, but I haven't heard anything lately on that. Have you?
The last thing I heard, and I think this was about a week and a half ago, was that Everton still want to complete the deal, but they were waiting on the manager to give the sign off, whoever they brought in. So I believe that Rafa is probably talking with Marcel Brands to see if maybe he wants to sign him, or maybe they want to go in a different direction. But from what it sounds like, if they do want to go forward with it, that will probably manifest itself pretty quickly if this is to be believed. He's a good player. Was he playing central? He's like a central mid, more of a defensive central mid. if I got it correctly.
But he carries the ball forward a lot.
Yeah.
So it reminds me a little bit in what Decore does in terms of getting back to disrupt play, but also being able to carry the ball forward at pace.
Honestly, he might be like an Idrissa Gueye kind of player, which is what Everton have been missing since Idrissa Gueye kind of left the team, which would be nice. I do know that he's still young. He's still raw. You know, he's been playing in Portugal, which, you know.
Yeah. We're going to have to start bringing in I feel like, I don't know, that kind of player, though, the one where it may not be completely polished, but could possibly increase in value big time. That's just the page out of Dortmund's book. You know what I mean? So I feel like we need, you know, those kind of transfers, getting to the point where we can do that would be cool.
I think so.
I'm going to mention one more transfer, but I'm just going to say before I even say it, I don't think it's true. Okay. I don't think it's true. This Ben White transfer that
this is wild.
It just came out today. Today we're recording this on a Thursday. Okay. So it just came out today. Everybody that I've talked to has said this is not true and this is just to spook Arsenal. Get them to blink.
This kind of rumor kind of makes me scratch my head a little bit because for all intents and purposes, I'm pretty sure Fabrizio Romano has said that it's basically a done deal to Arsenal for £50 million, and others have kind of indicated the same thing. But then why put out this release? I don't know if that's the agent trying to get just a little bit more money for Ben White, which it could be because the rumor was that Everton want to do 50 million plus 5 in incentives, and they want to do 20 upfront, 30 in installments is what I read. So that's just a little bit more money. And then you make up the rumor that, Ben White seems to be impressed by how quickly they came in for him. And I'm like, that doesn't really make any sense. If Ben White has his heart set on Arsenal and Arsenal want to pay out the £50 million, then that's what's just going to happen. So I don't necessarily think that there's any truth in it, but it's just a little bit weird because you're not really going to get much more than 50 million. Everton probably would pay, if this were true, Everton probably would pay just a little bit more than 50, but Everton don't really need a center back either. So,
yeah. So really curious about the transfers this summer because I genuinely don't know. I don't know exactly how this is going to shake out. But at the same time, this is one that I think the Dumfries interest is genuine. I think the Nunes interest is genuine. I just don't know. I don't think the Ben White interest is. I mean, heck, it could be a situation where we're interested, but it's not a possibility. Right. It's like, oh yeah, Everton are interested. And they're like, yeah, well, they can be. Good luck to them.
They would also have to sell. They would have to get rid of a center back at some point. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whether that be Braithwaite or whoever,
or Holgate or what I mean. Holgate, like it's hard to see what they're gonna do, man.
Now, if you could swing it and you could get Ben White, you're talking about a massive upgrade to your defensive capabilities. But
agreed.
It's not going to happen.
It would be surprising.
And then you got this interesting rumor going on with Gylfi Sigurdsson that they're trying to convince him to move to Saudi Arabia. I think that's a hard sell. I don't think you're going to get. I really don't think you're going to get Gylfi Sigurdsson to go to Saudi Arabia. And I, tongue in cheek, tweeted out that, not really tongue in cheek, but it was a little bit joking, that he would be a good fit for
saw this
FC Cincinnati, and he would. Jurgen Locadia is moving back to Brighton, and so FC Cincinnati is going to have a DP slot open. They need a guy who can kind of facilitate that offense a little bit. They have a couple of guys who are, decent in that midfield, like Lucio Acosta and Alvaro Barrael, and those guys are fine. But if you could get somebody like Gylfi Sigurdsson, who's a good passer and can kind of, he's not fast, but the MLS is a super pacey league. I mean, that'd be a good deal.
Yeah, I'm really, I get the vibe that Sigurdsson, there is still a market for Sigurdsson in the Premier League. So I think he'll milk every possibility from Premier League. And also, there is a possibility, and it's a strong one, that Benitez, there's a strong possibility that Benitez likes him. it's
Yeah,
possible. You know what I
it
mean?
is.
Because I mean, he is a coach's. It seems to be a coach's player. Coaches seem to like him.
Right.
So I'll be curious to see how things shake out with Gylfi. I don't know. And you know what? Ooh, that was a good choice on lighting, Jake.
Yeah.
Good job. Sorry, the other one was just the worst, and
Yeah,
this
I
all of
know
a sudden
it was so bad. I had to figure something out.
you
So
just like you now you look like you're over a campfire telling stories. This is brilliant. Um, it's so anyway, yeah, Sigurdsson's situation will be interesting. Uh, yeah, I again, that's another one. I cannot tell who's going to go and who's going to stay. I think agents and newspapers are going to absolutely throw us in every conversation to manipulate situations as much as possible.
yeah, I do think James Rodriguez is probably going to be out the door to AC Milan.
That is to me, that's the main certainty.
That seems
Out of
like
everything.
that'll probably be done before they go to Orlando, I would imagine. Which it's a bummer. He never got to play in front of Everton supporters.
I know, I know, especially
Um,
in Florida, where I'm sure there's a huge population of people in Florida that want
yeah,
to watch him play. So,
yeah.
bummer, but if we don't want to be
It's
there,
the
we
way
don't
it
want to be
is.
there.
It's the
You
way
know.
it is.
All right, so we should move on.
Yes, we should.
There we go. Okay. We got to talk about the manager. It's just got
Yeah.
to it's got to happen. It's
Mm-hmm.
time. It's time we're pulling off this band-aid. We're just going to do
Mm-hmm.
it. Just fast. In order to get talking about this though, we put out a request for questions, and because he always responds and comes through in the
He's our
clutch,
guy.
we're gonna have now a moment with Bowsy Toffee Tits. Now is where we put in some, you know, motivational music or something like la la la, that kind of thing. So Aaron Free, aka Bowsy Toffee Tits, aka the questionnaire, asks, "Do you think Rafa is a good appointment? What role do you feel Bronze had in his appointment? In this appointment? If it turns sour, do you agree that Moshiri needs to have complete trust in a director of football in driving the next managerial appointment?" And that's part one. Part two, coming after this. But let's handle part one first. Do you think Rafa is a good appointment, Jake?
I think it's a really interesting appointment in terms of what the board is going for here. Obviously, there has been a lot of upheaval in the managerial position since the 2014-2015 season. You know,
Yeah.
it's been every year and a half. It's been a new guy in, minus Sam Allardyce, who was only here for like 6 months or what have you. But that was just like a, you know, make sure we don't get relegated type thing. So the board is looking for stability and they want somebody to go forward. And I think they kind of want like a stopgap to get to Bramley Moore. I think they just want one more guy so that they can get to Bramley Moore. And then I honestly believe that they want to hire Duncan Ferguson, but he doesn't have the skill set for it yet. They don't think he's ready. So Rafa, serial winner early in his career. Couple Super Cups, Euro Super Cups, Copa Italia, couple Spanish First Division wins, Champions League win with Liverpool. Serial winner early in his career. Since then, slightly dropped off. Did okay with Newcastle. He had more wins than he had losses at Newcastle. There were a lot of draws mixed in there. Didn't have a great squad at Newcastle. Was run out of town, went to China, and was horrific. But, you know, how much are we really going to put stock into what he did in China as a legitimate, you know, concern to his managerial chops? So you could argue that maybe he is a little bit past it. He hasn't done it for a long time. Won the championship to bring Newcastle back to the Premier League, which is good. Championship's not an easy league to win. It's really competitive. but obviously you have to take into consideration that the fans are woefully against this. Just, there was some embarrassing behavior in the city with, the jokes about the bed sheets, that was kind of funny. Some memes about that. That was
Yeah.
that was pretty great. And then there was a really embarrassing one, with the "We know where you live," and then it's put outside the wrong house, which is just a funny footnote to a
Yeah, I
horrible.
know.
It's a really funny footnote to a horrible thing that happened.
I was telling some of the people that I work with, like, yeah, we know where you live, except we don't.
We don't.
It's
Except we really don't. Um,
yeah.
so fans are against it. And then there was the rumors that people within the club are against it. And then you hear that maybe Marcel Brands, well, I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It has some potential to work out really good because you got to figure that Rafa just wants to get in here and show that he can be passionate about Everton. He called them a small club many years ago. People are still mad about that. I wasn't around for that. I don't really care about that. That's in the past. That's the kind of thing that people do. People say stuff all the time, and they don't even mean it. So
I will say this on that one, and then I'll leave it. But he said they were a small club, and then he came out and said, "Oh, I didn't mean to. I meant that they were a small team, in that they
right.
were playing
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a small
yeah.
team." And I
Yeah.
was just sitting there thinking, man, that's
It's BS.
insulting.
I
Don't
mean, but
insult
it's
my
it's
just
BS.
just back yourself up and say, yeah, I meant it at the time. Guess what? I changed. My view has changed.
Yeah, it's just
Circa
it's
new shit has come to light, man. All right.
yeah, it's that was just a bunch of BS. But do I like the appointment? To be honest with you, no, I don't. There were better candidates. They could have gotten somebody else. Mashiri wanted Rafa. Mashiri thinks that Rafa is the guy. And now it's kind of my job to get behind Rafa and give him a shot here and see if his massive cojones are enough to kind of push Everton in the right direction here.
Hey, so just a question, okay? Because I was asking myself this question. I didn't know what to think of it. You take his resume, right? And take away the fact that he was a Red.
Yeah.
So you take away that emotion. And then you look at the resume and you look about the type of coach he is. Does it, in your mind, make it a better appointment? Because I don't know the answer to this, by the way. I'm asking the question because I feel like it's a tough question.
Some of that stuff, like the fact that he is a Red, and like you can say he was a Red, but like he probably very much is still a Red. He still very much loves Liverpool, still very much adored by Liverpool fans, although probably not anymore.
It'd be hard to turn that off, right?
Yeah, he's definitely still a Red. He's probably going to be a Red from now until the day he dies, which is fine. He did a lot of winning there. He was a very popular figure. I worry about him not doing it at a high level for a long time. He's been out of the Premier League since 2016, I think. And he didn't have any offers at any of the top leagues, no Serie A, no Liga Leg 1, no Bundesliga jobs, no Premier League jobs, no championship jobs even. He was forced to go to China.
Yeah.
That's a bit worrisome to me. That shows that nobody was really all that interested, and maybe that they had the feeling that he might have lost it a little bit. So it's a bit concerning, but I feel like if he would have gone to another top league or even the championship and continued coaching at a pretty decent level and won more games than he lost, or did some good winning, or brought a team up to the Premier League again, then maybe right now I would have a bit of a different feeling. But right now I'm just kind of like, is this guy actually past it? Can he still do it at a high level? Can he still win a bunch of games? And we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna I'm not gonna spew everything from the article that I read because everybody should go read it. But that article in The Athletic is great.
It
There's an
is.
article in The Athletic talking about the managerial search. Everybody should go read it. It's great information. I mean, let's be honest, The Athletic is some of the best reporting you're going to find on sports, period. Right?
For sure.
You know, so talk about the managerial search. My biggest issue with this whole appointment is a bit that was in that was revealed in that article, was that Bronze really didn't have much to do with this appointment. That bugs me.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with it.
Yeah.
If Bronze had said, yeah, man, this is my guy and I'm behind it 100%, then, that's, what, that guy back there in that picture, that's a cool guy, and not the moose. He's all right. But the guy over there in the chair, all right, that guy, sorry, maybe I have too much stock in the guy. I put too much stock in the guy. I think he's awesome. And I feel like if he picks a manager and they're on the same page, good things could happen. I feel like that could happen. But he didn't on this one. So that bums me out a little bit. That means there's still, the guy who's writing the checks is making the decisions. And to be honest with you, that's usually the case in everywhere in the world. So nothing new there. I'm not saying it's something that I say, oh, that's so wrong. I mean, that's just life, right? But I think, I the whole time I was just hoping he would get to be director of football and actually direct football. And he's not really getting to, so I'm a little bummed. However, I did a little research on the interwebs myself on Rafa. Okay. Style of play at his various clubs. Okay. And what's interesting to me is he doesn't really have like, okay, we're going to run this formation and this is what we're going to do. Okay. He bases it on what he's got. Okay. And he over prepares in terms of roles and pressing triggers and in terms of which areas to press, passing lane or press the ball, or you know what I mean? And like he likes to draw the ball force the ball to wide areas in order to bring in a trap. It's really fascinating thing the way he manages, and he's obsessive in his detail. That is one of the things that really stuck out for me. And he makes a different plan for every team. I kind of like that, because then, the biggest issue that we all had with Roberto Martinez, the biggest issue we had with him was he wanted to run a certain system and he didn't really have all the pieces. That was a big frustration. Seems like what Rafa's going to do is take a look at what we've got and work around it. I like that a bit. I like it. It does mean there's probably not a discernible style, but it also means, it reminds me a little bit of what Ancelotti does. And to a way, okay, I have to say this though, and to a way less effective point, Allardyce did a lot of the same stuff too. Okay. Just figuring out a way to win based on what you have. Okay. Allardyce did that well.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've said it. It's over. Ancelotti did a better job of it. And Rafa seems like he's going to be doing it a slightly different way. Yeah. So would I feel like this is a solid appointment if he wasn't a Red? I'd feel better about it. Would I feel better about it if the director of football had made the appointment? Yeah, I'd feel better about it. But if he comes in, man, focused, guns blazing, and not treating us like we're idiots as a fan base, because that pisses me off, don't sit there and bullshit us.
Right.
It's an intelligent fan base.
The last guy did that.
So it's an intelligent fan base, except when it comes to finding houses. Okay? And judging whether or not leave the message in the first place.
They like to give up their bed sheets for some reason. It's really weird.
So anyway, I'm not really going to comment on that stuff at all. It's just,
Everyone's just sleeping on no bed sheets, beds.
Just
It's just a plain mattress.
it makes me, the whole thing makes me sad, but just to see people being upset, that sucks. So anyway, neither one of us are flat out saying this is the worst thing that could happen. Agreement?
It's not, but it's also just not great.
I think what gets me about managerial searches, man, is when people sit there and black or white it. They're like, oh, it's not going to work. We're getting relegated.
Yeah.
Or they say, you're dumb for thinking this isn't going to work. This guy's just what we need. How do you know? We don't know.
Nobody knows. Nobody has any idea. Mushiri doesn't know. Brands doesn't know. Hell, Rafa Benitez does not even know if this is going to work out.
Nah, man. No.
Not a soul.
And I'll tell you right now, I think he wants it to work. Okay?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I think he wants it to work. I think he's going to try hard. And for me, that's good. It wasn't my number one choice. So, but guess what? I take the stance that a lot of other people take, which is they're looking when they previous managers, they were like, yes, that is the guy. And they didn't work out. So this one, we're not all going, yes. So maybe it's one of those situations.
Maybe it is the guy now.
Maybe we don't know what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Maybe no one does.
It's a wild concept, Man, you tell people that you don't know what they're talking about, they kind of upset about that, Gerry. Be careful.
I said maybe, and I said we. to be fair, no, I think the only thing is that I don't like to deal in absolutes in this kind of stuff.
Only cis deal in absolute.
Yeah. I always thought that was one of the funnier Star Wars lines I've ever heard, because it's an absolute. Only Siths deal in absolutes. Oh, and me for saying that. Star Wars quotable. Yeah. All right. So as soon as I said absolutes, I was like, please take the bait, Jake. Please take the bait, Jake. Took it and ran.
Took it hard.
Love it, man. We're going to start completing each other's
sentences.
Sandwiches. Soon. Yes.
Yeah, in Orlando. That's right.
All right. So part 2, Bowsy Toffee Tits, Aaron Free says, do you think we're falling behind in recruitment due to the time taken to appoint Rafa? Leicester and Villa making good moves. Same stuff you were saying earlier, by the way. I can't wait. And Aaron, seems like Aaron's going to be in Orlando, because Aaron says, I can't wait to get behind the team, especially in Orlando. And he asks, what's your favorite frozen drink? Happy 4th of July. So the toughest part of that, by the way, to me, was the frozen drink question.
The frozen drink.
I want to save that for last. I was like, can somebody take a frozen whiskey and put it in the blender, and then that's mine. Have a frozen drink. I always want to look up frozen drinks really quick and figure one out.
Oh, you might be in for a surprise with my frozen drink, but let's get to the first bits.
Okay.
Let's get to the first bits first. Okay.
Are we falling behind?
Are we falling behind in recruitment? Maybe slightly. But Everton do seem to be on the tail of maybe a couple of really good signings, maybe getting some dead wood out the door at the same time. Maybe if they can sell Gylfi Sigurdsson and they can get Rafas Rodriguez moved on. And there is rumors of a swap deal with AC Milan with Rafas Rodriguez and Rafael Leo coming back Everton's way, which would be a really good deal. It's a really good player.
That'd be cool.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think it would have to be cash for Rafas Rodriguez, and then if Everton want to come in and buy Leo, they can buy him. He's a really good player. He would fit in well at Everton. I think that would be great. If you can get rid of Gylfi Sigurdsson and you can bring in Denzel Dumfries and Matthias Nunez, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You take care of your right side, at least part of it. You still need a right mid or right winger. You still need a backup striker, and you probably still need an attacking midfielder. But You take care of a huge need in right back with Denzel Dumfries, who is excellent. He's young, he's pacey, and man, does he like to get forward into the box. So that'd be great. So falling behind, maybe slightly, but not too terribly far right now. We're not like out of the race and everyone's just going to be so far ahead of us. But them getting those guys in early on, I don't know if they have announced Sumare or not. They probably did, and I missed it. I know they announced Baca.
Yeah, that's the one that I saw. That's what
yesterday or the day before. And then obviously Aston Villa is doing some good work as well.
Yeah.
So maybe slightly, but we're still okay. Everything is still fine.
I'm gonna say yes. We are falling behind, and we're not gonna sign anybody. It's the worst summer. Terrible.
Not a single player.
Yeah, Browns has no backups, none.
There's no money.
He said he put all his. It's a very Steve Walsh situation. He's like, if you can't get Giroud, you can't get anybody. So it's God. That still burns, man. That still.
Olivier Giroud. He would have been a good signing for Everton.
Everybody was like, this is happening. It's exactly what we need.
It would have been great.
Yeah, would have been awesome. It's a friggin' shame. But basically, I half of that, part of what I just said, I do think we're falling behind because we're waiting to make sure our manager's cool with the signings, period. Yeah, it is absolutely happening. But we have a director of football who's got it in hand. It'll be fine. I'm not sweating it. I'm not worried about losing out on signings because of this. If we lose out on the signings, there's going to be backups. There's a list. There's a doggone list, people. And if there's not a list, Braun shouldn't have a job.
I'll tell you what. Sunderland Until I Die was a really interesting documentary, not only to see how Sunderland has suffered and have, continued to suffer, but it also gave a good look into like what a deadline day is like. There is, if they're like that guy who was working for Sunderland, he did have a list of players and they were literally calling all of these players and they had scouts going on. So, obviously there's a list and there's backups to that list and there's backups to that list. So they know what they're doing. And obviously Marcel Brands is working hard. He was just in the Netherlands, probably furthering the Denzel Dumfries thing. Because I couldn't imagine they would be going after anyone else from the Netherlands because it would have been linked by now. So yeah, there's a list. We're falling behind, but it'll be okay. We'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Just get it done before you go to Orlando. Basically, ideally you would want to bring in at least a couple players before you go to Orlando to get that time in because you're gonna need to be doing this quick.
By the way, something I didn't mention earlier, potential rumors of our interest in Sergio Romero potentially coming back, as in like the rumor coming back.
Oh, yeah.
So as a backup.
That'd be neat.
Yeah, so that'd be cool.
No, he's on free now, so.
Yeah, and Olsen had a decent Euros, by the way.
Euros.
Didn't really allow many goals to the final game. He did well. So he could end up, I think that could end up being more complicated. So we could end up going Romero there.
It'll be one of the two.
That's the thing.
I would imagine it'll be one of the two.
And I think we're both fine with either one.
Oh, Romero and Olsen are both excellent goalkeepers. And if you need or want to rotate Jordan Pickford a little bit, if he needs a rest or what have you, both of those guys are really good options to have.
Yeah. So, number one, Aaron Free, find us in Orlando so we can meet Bowsy Toffee Tits in the flesh.
That's right.
Okay. Just saying. Number two, Jake, we got to answer this frozen drink question.
I'm on it.
What's your favorite? I hope your frozen drink gives me an idea for one of mine because I never drink frozen drinks.
So I'm not a huge frozen drink guy, but a couple years ago I went to the Bunbury Music Festival here in Cincinnati on a warm June summer day. Sun was shining. It was like 80, 85 degrees outside. And I'm walking around and I'm just kind of looking to see what kind of food and beverages are available at my disposal. Excuse me. And I walk past this booth and it catches my eye because I'm like, I hope that's not what I think I saw. And the sign is clear as day, whiskey sour slushy. And I'm like, one of those, please. And I have it, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing I might have ever consumed. It was delightful. It was cold, and it was alcoholic, and it was
Oh
just
my gosh.
wonderful. It was wonderful. So
That's
when you were saying earlier, I'm like, I just want a frozen whiskey drink, and I'm like,
boom.
I might just have one for you, a whiskey sour slushy. Oh
I
yeah,
do like the idea of making slushy alcoholic. I will say that. That seems pretty cool.
it's
Holy
great.
cow. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't have an answer. This is the hardest question of the whole night for me, is the favorite frozen drink. And I'm like spacing. I didn't look it up. You know, I thought about like Googling it. I'm like, what kind of friggin' nerd are you, Jerry? You're gonna
Is
Google frozen drinks.
is a milkshake a frozen drink? I mean, I don't know if it's a frozen drink or not. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, Kona Ice, the dreamsicle flavor. That's my favorite frozen drink. It's I'm an embarrassment. Yeah.
You'll have to look up a recipe for whiskey sour slushies now.
Okay. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna say Jake's answer, but I'm gonna do some research between now and next week. All right. Remind me so that I can say and that could be that Jake's answer is just the best one. And I'm just gonna go with it.
It's hard to beat, I gotta say.
Yeah. Part of me was like, is there a Manhattan slushy? Because I would do, or an old fashioned, you know? Yeah. All right. So happy 4th of July.
Don't blow any fingers off, please.
Yes, please keep your fingers. Oh
I will do my
gosh.
best because I am shooting off fireworks on Sunday. So
We're not.
next time I
No.
come on, I might have 9 fingers.
I'm going to avoid every bit of fireworks works we can avoid. I'm going to try to distract my kids so we don't have to go anywhere.
Seems like a good plan.
Don't like the crowds.
Seems like a good plan. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm a 4th of July Scrooge when it comes to that. You know? Happy for America. Don't want to celebrate with fireworks.
No, fair enough.
All right. So, final questions brought in from Toffee Blues John.
That's right, baby.
He's like the Toffee Blues puppet master, you know? So John has asked this question, and I want to get the wording right. Okay.
Yep.
So you are the owner of a restaurant and have Everton's last 5 managers all available for employment. And you must find a role for them that you think they will be best at. Now, I would like to point out, he does not include Benitez. That would make past 6 managers, okay? I don't know if he did that on purpose. I have included Benitez in my list, but regardless, you've got Martinez, Koeman, Allardyce, Silva, Ancelotti. You could throw Benitez at the end. And there's a last question to come after that. So, that is not Everton based. So, Jake Holton, if you've got a restaurant and you've hired Bobby Brown shoes, and clearly you can't hire him to do this. It's not a bad idea, right? What do you have Roberto Martinez doing at your restaurant?
Oh, I think he'd be gosh. I could see him being like a good back of house manager.
Interesting.
I think Roberto Martinez would be good at back of house. He's kind of an interesting guy. He's kind of fun, but he can be kind of intense sometimes too. So when the kitchen gets crazy, he can kind of expedite and get stuff out. I think he'd be good at that. And then let's see, Ronald Koeman's after him, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make him the busboy.
Got it.
We're gonna make Ronald Koeman the busboy because I don't trust him doing literally anything else.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
It's an important job, though, you're giving him. Just saying.
Look, okay. I've bust tables before. It's not that hard. It's really not.
I have, and I have as well. And depending on the day, it can be really hard.
Okay, but he can do it. But that's the only thing that he can handle. I don't trust him doing literally anything else in a restaurant. Yes.
Okay. What about Sam Allardyce?
Sam Allardyce. He'd be a good bartender, I think.
Nice.
I think
Nice.
you know, of all the managers, I think he could handle bartending pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What about Silva?
Marco Silva. I see him being a decent chef, actually.
Hmm.
I think he could be a
Gotcha.
decent chef.
Okay. Ancelotti.
Front of house manager. Because
Mm-hmm.
he'd like to muck it up with all of the customers, and he's a snake though. I don't like him. I don't want to talk about him.
Okay. You don't have to.
Yeah, he's a snake.
Let's
Front
we'll
of house
make
manager though.
we'll make the bad man stop, Jake. You don't have to keep
Yes,
going.
that's right.
And what do you do with Benitez?
I'm gonna go for the joke. Are you ready? You know where I'm going for this. You know where I'm going for this.
John set us
You
up for
know
this.
he did. I know he did. I'm gonna go for the joke. He'd be a waiter.
Right.
As soon as you read the question, I'm like, this is a joke, right? Like this is supposed
It's
to
a
be.
setup.
This
It's
is
absolutely a setup. And he didn't even put Rafa in the list of managers.
No,
I think
no, he didn't.
knew. He knew.
He didn't. He didn't. But yeah, he's a good waiter.
So I treated this like I was casting a movie.
Yeah.
All right. So I have Roberto Martinez as like a server, as a waiter, because I feel like he would just unflappably act like everything's cool the whole time, with a smile on his face, and be the nicest guy in the world. You know what I mean? Can you
Yeah.
imagine that guy bringing you like some extra horseradish
Oh, he's
sauce?
so nice.
Absolutely.
He's so nice.
He would sit there, and when he brings you the check, he probably would have made a little smiley face and says, "Thank you, Roberto," and wrote it with his hand.
That's
You know,
right.
he would do that. He's a nice man, right?
Very
And
nice
so
man.
many jobs in a restaurant, a nice guy is just no place for him. You know what I mean? And so, yeah. Koeman, I have him being an assistant manager, okay? Because I feel like if you work in a restaurant, usually so many of the bigger jerks are assistant managers. You know what I mean? They feel like they have to do the dirty work for the manager, so they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder for not being the manager, and they're just kind of a jerk. You know what I mean? And I feel like Koeman would have a sneer on his face the whole time about even being there. Okay. Allardyce, I was torn. Okay. He's either cook, working in the kitchen, so he interacts with no one. Okay. Don't want him speaking to any customers ever. Okay. Or he's a sommelier who is pouring glasses of wine by the pint. Okay. And he's the worst sommelier in the world, just like, basically telling people, here's this vat of wine that you can drink the way I do. Let me show you how I do it. Gone. You know what I mean? So, but to be honest with you, his personality fits more kitchen. Keep him in the kitchen. Don't let anybody see him. He's better. You want to know Sam is there. No way. All right. Marco Silva, I've got him as a sous chef. You know what I mean? You tell him what to do, and he's sitting there. He's doing it really quick. He doesn't need to be interacting with customers either. All right. The charisma. He's all charisma in his looks. He looks charismatic. He's not.
Not really.
You know what I mean?
It's pretty boring.
Ancelotti, I would have him come in and take my job as owner, because he just seems like he should own the restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, I realize he's a snake. He left. Whatever. He still seems like he should own things.
The worst.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want him owning anything.
And
That's
Benitez
harsh.
Benitez is my manager. Because to be honest with you, I think he's too old to be a server. Okay. I feel like he would bullshit enough to the customers to make sure, but at the same time, I feel like he would do a little bit of dirty work. You know what I mean? But he seems like somebody, he doesn't look like he would do a lot of work himself though. He seems like he would delegate a lot, doesn't he? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just say, hey, Ronald, hey, can you go into the computer and take that drink off there? Thank you. You know, go ahead, Ronald. Ronald should do that kind of work.
You know what's funny? You know what's really funny is I actually dislike Ronald Koeman more than I dislike Sam Allardyce.
I agree. I don't like either one, but I agree. I totally agree. Yeah.
Like,
Not by a
because
lot.
at least Sam Allardyce did the job he was brought in to do. He was annoying the whole time he did it, and he was in no way capable of carrying that team any further than he actually did. But at least he did the damn job he was brought in to do. Whereas Ronald Koeman was brought in and he bought 3 number 10s and decided to try to play them all at the same time. And of course, it didn't work. It failed miserably and wrecked
Yeah.
the club for many years. We're still trying to recover from his mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have fun busting tables, Ronald. Some kid threw up on that table over there. Go clean it up.
Get the mop, Ronald.
Jerk. What a jerk.
Wow. All right. Yeah. Sam, for me, I think he wanted to be at Everton and wanted to prove everybody wrong. You know what I mean? I think deep down he did feel like he could do the job, but he also felt like nobody thought he deserved it. So he felt like he had a point to prove. Ronald Koeman felt like the job was beneath him, and you know what I mean? And I hate that. That to me bugs me the most.
I think
You know,
Ancelotti was kind of the same way.
Ancelotti's not far from that. But I do think here's the deal. I think he would have stayed if he didn't have Real Madrid as a possibility.
But somebody would have come calling. Somebody bigger would have come calling, and he would have bolted at the first phone call.
Depends on who it was, you know. But here's the deal: if you don't want to be here, let him go. If you want to be here, let him go. That's the thing, man. It's like being in a relationship, man.
You don't want to be at the greatest club in the world? Sorry. That's your loss. Have fun. Go be somewhere else.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
That's right.
And you have to go and eat your words about the Super League. Have fun.
Yeah, and then walks his way back like, oh, well, you know, maybe. And everyone's just like, you got to be kidding me. This guy is a charlatan. He's like a snake oil doctor.
Snake oil salesman? Is that what?
Yeah. Like an Old West snake oil salesman.
That's got
like, look at this. It'll
carriage.
fix everything.
Yeah, a case selling it out of the wagon, you know?
Ass.
Are you going to be okay?
I'm fine. I have not been able to get out these frustrations to all these people about how much Carlo Ancelotti just lied and tore up Everton and forced them to hire Rafa Benitez, which, you know, is what it is.
So, what else do you need to say to get it out, to cleanse, to purge, if you will, to exorcise the demon? What do you need to do to let the healing begin?
I think I got everything out on Ronald Koeman. I think I got my point across about how I feel about him. And I think I'm good on Carlo Ancelotti now. Just, you know, why even take the job if you were just going to bolt the first time Real Madrid picked up the phone? And the way he left, kind of annoying, you know? Knew he was going to leave, waited and waited and waited, knew that they weren't going to retain Zinedine Zidane, and then, you know, drop of a hat, bye. A day later, a day after it's reported, leaves and is hired. Gross. Totally gross. And then wants to, pretend like he had a bunch of respect for Everton and was thankful for the opportunity and thought he was successful finishing in 12th place. Get out of here.
So going back to Ancelotti real quick,
Yes.
how would you have handled it if you're him and you have an opportunity to go back to an old club that got rid of you, right? How do you handle it differently?
Oh, if I'm him,
Yeah.
I would have stayed. I would have told
Not like that.
I would have told Real Madrid to shove it, and I would have stayed.
Well, of course you would have. I'm saying, like, how could he have done that? How could he have left without?
Oh, it would have been impossible. They would have crucified him no matter what. It wouldn't have mattered if he would have left a week earlier, 2 weeks. It wouldn't have mattered. The only way it wouldn't have mattered is if he would have like quit at the end of the season.
I think would have been interesting to have him just acknowledge, like, hey, this is the deal. I changed my mind. I was, I don't know if I was as forthcoming as I should have been. Things like that. I like seeing people own up. That, to me, that's just a thing. Some people think that's weakness. For me, that's strength.
Right.
Admit you're a vulnerable human being, and maybe people actually like, at least he didn't lie.
Yep.
Right.
But he did.
Yeah,
Big time.
So, can you are you gonna pull against Real Madrid every time you see him now?
I've never really liked Real Madrid anyway. Now I have even more reason to just cheer for Barcelona.
What a raging ball of hatred you are right now.
Yes. Yes.
Listen
That's
to how
me.
irrational.
That's definitely me. Not measured in any way. Always flying off the handle. Just a total jerk.
Yeah. Never considering statements ever, right? It's just oh man. So, okay. Now you kind of want Benitez to do better so that he can put Ancelotti kind of in his shadow.
Under the dirt.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that then. All right. Let's go. So, are we ready to move on?
I think so. I think we're good.
Can we? Are you sure?
Yeah, we're good.
Like, I don't know if you want to, like,
demons are exercise, Jerry.
Construct a little puppet
good.
of Ancelotti that you burn in effigy or something.
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. So, last thing. Let's end with some better vibes. Toffee Blues John has asked, best and worst comedy.
Okay, I'll start with the worst.
I got no worst, so I got to work on that.
I am going to start with the worst. I do have a worst. I had to think about it, but I thought about it. And there was a comedy that I watched that I hated. I hated it. 21 Jump Street.
Oh.
Terrible.
I don't hate that.
Oh.
I didn't hate that one.
Awful. So bad. So bad. Hated it. Couldn't finish the movie. I never not finished movie. I couldn't finish it. It's terrible. It's just awful. Best comedy. Now this is where it gets tough. There are a lot of really good comedies out there. There's a lot of old comedies that are really good. I think Superbad is probably my favorite comedy. I love Superbad.
Good one. It's a good movie.
The other one that I was considering was Billy Madison. Billy Madison is my second favorite comedy of all time. It's excellent.
It's a very good one. I'm struggling for worst comedy. I'll be honest. I am desperately trying to figure one out right now. Best comedy is easy for me because that's one of the things as a filmmaker, as somebody who wanted to get into comedy filmmaking, like I study the good ones. You know what I mean? So like I look at, Big Lebowski and say, holy crap.
That's a really good one.
A fantastic comedy. That was more just like quality filmmaking, It's brilliant and subtle and all that. If you want to go a little more lowbrow, you go Caddyshack. Caddyshack is,
It's a classic.
it seems like a bunch of dudes got together and made a movie because that's exactly what happened.
It's
It
a
wasn't a
classic.
film or anything. It's just a funny friggin' movie. Again, subtle, little details. Good. And the other one I would mention, I really like This Is Spinal Tap. Spinal Tap is really good. I'm a huge fan of the mockumentaries that Christopher Guest does, like Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show,
Yeah, yeah.
A Mighty Wind, all those. Yeah, and Spinal Tap's the original one of those mocks that, that actually Rob Reiner directed.
Yeah.
So I think those are, I got a soft spot for movies like The Jerk, but
I'll tell you
yeah,
one that I thought was pretty good that I don't think many people have seen is Trainwreck with
yes.
what's his name? Bill
John
Hader and
John
uh Amy Schumer and Bill
yeah,
Hader.
John Cena's in it.
Yeah.
John
It
Cena's
was hilarious.
hilarious in it.
I thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious. And not many people are like, "What is that? I've never even heard of Trainwreck." I'm like, "It's great." It's got Amy Schumer, and Amy Schumer is a bit of an acquired taste, but I thought she was fantastic in that
I
movie.
thought I thought it was a funny movie.
I
That was
didn't think
funny.
she was too heavy-handed, which she can be sometimes with her stand-up. But Bill Hader is excellent in just about literally anything you put him in. So
For my worst comedy, I am going to preface this by saying that I don't believe the director intended it to be a comedy in the beginning. I believe he intended it to be his Citizen Kane. Okay? I
wow,
believe the director intended it to be a very big time drama. And then when people watched it, it was so funny. He started telling people it was a dark comedy.
uh,
He really did. We're talking about a guy who starred in the movie, directed the movie, wrote the movie, produced the movie.
oh boy,
Okay. And really, the story around the movie is just as funny as the movie itself. So some of you may have caught on to what I'm saying right now. The Room. The Room, starring Tommy Wiseau, written by Tommy Wiseau, directed by Tommy Wiseau, produced by Tommy Wiseau. Wiseau Films. Okay. $6 million. Where did the investment come from? Nobody knows. It's an absurd. I mean, we're talking about a film where the director didn't know the difference between shooting on film and shooting digital.
Oof.
So they rented both types of
Oh
cameras.
no,
Okay.
oh no.
Taped the two types of cameras side by side and recorded the whole movie on both digital and 35 millimeter. And then the director decided he thought the digital looked better, the HD looked better, so they had wasted all that film. Just gone. 35 millimeter film, gone.
Jesus.
Okay? It is a phenomenal, hilarious, awful movie. Okay? And I'm saying it is it's only because the director has come out and says that it's intended to be a comedy, supposed to be funny, wink wink, that I'm calling it worst comedy. Because but it is hilarious. Nothing intended for that movie to be funny is funny. It is awful. And it is so worth your time. You will, but I have shown it to people and had other people get angry at me for showing it to them over drinks. So just be ready. Know what you're walking into. It's a shitstorm. It's a beautiful shitstorm. So, The Room, everybody.
The Room.
And there's a movie made about The Room as well, starring James Franco.
How about that?
Yeah. So it's a couple years ago, I think. So anyway, that's it,
There you
dude.
go.
We're done. We're
There
done.
you go.
That's it. Done with the show. Done with the show.
Boom.
Jake, anything we need to plug for you at the end of this episode?
No, I don't think so. Just the normal. You can follow me on Twitter. The Twitter handle, I'm sure, will be in the tweet when it goes out. You can also read all of my writing. I write for The Broken Anchor on Twitter, which I'm, a little down on because other stuff's going on in my life. And then also sometimes I will write for Toffee Targets as well. All Everton related stuff goes through Toffee Targets most likely. So sort out Toffee Targets, The Broken Anchor. You can find my writing there. It's usually pretty good. Sometimes it's not.
It's great.
Sometimes I write about weird stuff like how car companies are making way too many SUVs, which they are. You can find that article. It's out there. The Broken Anchor.
I was gonna say that on Toffee Targets. I would love to see the connecting line.
No, The Broken Anchor. You can find it if you're really interested in reading about how car companies are making way too many SUVs.
Yeah, you should. I actually kind of want to read that now. Just saying. I think it's hilarious, Jake. Both of us are like two of the most self-deprecating people in the world, and we're like working together. It's just really funny. Sorry, it's just we're both like constantly making jokes about ourselves. It's hey,
Gotta laugh at yourself, right?
Between us, we have a normal human's confidence. Add it up. That's what you got. So anyway, just want to say thanks, Jake. Appreciate you coming on again, man. It's always
Yeah, we had to get these thoughts out about our new gaffer.
Yeah, and what's funny is if Terry from Toffee Blues sees that, he's gonna be like, "You said Allardyce was a pragmatist and Ancelotti, and now you're saying Benitez." I'm like, yeah,
true,
they're just different. They're just different.
It's just what
versions.
it is, Yeah.
And some of them do it better than others. So
Rafa will sit
Terry,
on
you're
one block with men behind the ball, but it will be a little bit different. There will be more pressure on certain points, and they will get forward at times.
Yeah, I have already, by the way, heard Ancient Benitez shouts. So just tune your ears for that. It'll happen.
I mean, I've seen the Rafa out hashtag already, and
you know what? If it makes people feel better, do what you gotta do. I don't think I've ever tweeted anyone out, but
I think I did for Koeman. I'm pretty sure I did for Koeman. I never wanted Ancelotti fired, although now I should have. I never really wanted Marco Silva fired, although towards the end it kind of made sense. Roberto Martinez was kind of logical, but I don't ever think I wanted him fired. I wanted Sam Allardyce out. I never wanted him fired, but I wanted him gone as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, he's never going to go away, though.
No,
you pretty much have to. You have to shoot him into the sun.
He'll talk about Everton forever, like he still belongs here. But Ronald Koeman, I wanted him gone, and I want him gone forever. Doesn't deserve Barcelona. I mean, come on, Barcelona, really? One of the greatest, most successful clubs in the world, and Ronald bleeping Koeman is managing Barcelona. Give me a break.
Yeah, let's be honest. He's probably a placeholder. It'll be okay. Okay. Anyway, well.
Good stuff, Gerry.
Now that we're back to being negative.
Woo!
It was so fine a minute ago. All right, anyway. Positive, good vibes. Everything is going to be okay. We're going to get to see Rafa in the flesh, so that's a thing.
Yes.
Hey.
In 24 days time.
Holy hand grenade.
24 days. I got to download my boarding passes.
We're going to see our 18 new signings. Let's do this.
We might have one by that time if we're lucky.
Yeah. And welcome back, Cuco Martina. Let's do this. So, he's not the right back we wanted.
I saw a funny joke today. Obviously the report came out that Marcel Brands was in the Netherlands working on a transfer, and people were like, "Oh, it's Denzel Dumfries," and then somebody posted a picture of Davy Klaassen, and they're like, "No, obviously we're bringing back Davy Klaassen."
Oh gosh, he's another one who was a nice guy.
He should have worked. Oh,
he's a nice fella.
I can't believe he didn't work out.
It's okay. I'm still upset about Sandro Ramirez.
Everyone is. Awful.
We're gonna have to cleanse this somehow.
Yes. happy thought before we get off. One happy thought. Go.
I am over halfway through making the documentary I'm working. I'm in a good,
Yeah.
it's really hard, but I'm in good space. So yeah.
I am going to order both Kate Fagan's book on ALS and Roger Bennett's book about how much he loves America.
Boom. Boom. Good stuff. See? Happy. We're happy again.
Yay!
Life is great. Yeah. All right, man. So let me get the business out of the way. If you've been digging what you're hearing and watching, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues podcast and or YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Please follow the Toffee Blues on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and check out the Toffee Blues YouTube, or not YouTube. I misspoke. The Toffee Blues website. We'd really appreciate it if you check that out. There's all things Everton on there. Some nice guys contribute content.
True.
And some of them, just know a lot about Everton. They don't even have to be nice. They just know a lot about Everton. You know? So yeah, that's it. That's all I got, man. All I got.
If you're going to Orlando, make sure you look out for us. We will be walking around in Orlando. If you want to have a drink with us, you see us, say, hey, I want to have a drink with you. And we will all have a drink together, and it'll be grand. It'll be a grand time. It's going to be very hot. It's going to be so hot.
Yes.
No yelling on the bus.
Yes. No yelling on the bus. I love it. All right. So that's it. Jake, take care, man.
Yes. I shall see you in 24 days' time, my friend.
Yes, sir. Maybe even before if we do another show. So, yeah.
You never know.
Okay. My friend, thanks again, man. Appreciate
Not
the
a problem.
thoughts. This wasn't as gloomy as it could have been. Just saying. All right. Much love. Much love to everybody else out there. Take care of yourselves. Positive vibes. Let's actually
good vibes only.
Let's get the fan base gelling somehow around something. Let's go.
TCL for 20 goals. All right. See you later, Gerry.
All right, everybody. Bye.